everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pej Pod. Did you introduce us last time? You didn't. Well, this time I'm going to. So my name's Pauline. If you're new to here, I'm joined with Eugene and John, 3 photographers, portraits and weddings mainly. And we're just here chatting about fun things, especially this episode. We're doing another part of Hot Takes, new topics that we're going to talk about, which are exciting. We had a lot of fun last time, so we thought we would do another episode with new topics, see what's going to come about. Yeah, let's just get right into it because I think it's going to be fun. So one thing I want to bring up first is I see a lot of this, and personally I'm really jealous because I personally don't own a drone, but drone photography. So I do find a lot of people are incorporating that into their galleries and in their work. You guys own drones, right?
Yeah.
No. Okay, John, you do. Have you ever done drone photography, like during a session or anything, or?
I did for Eugene, but for the listeners,
we'll bring that up again.
for the listeners, I don't know. Just to recap, this is what happened. I was working for Eugene for I was second shooting for him, and we were basically I would use a drone for establishing shots, like an aerial of like a push in into the venue and push out, stuff like that. But we were doing it, and unfortunately, my drone drowned, and it was pretty sad. I watched the drone sink into the lake, Lake Las Vegas.
That was the day that John lost his flash as well.
Yeah,
it was that day.
Yeah, the hot shoe just failed, both of them. So yeah, it was a bad day. But anyway, yes, I've done some of that, and then I'm planning to do that again because I have a new drone.
You're not completely traumatized by it, so we're good.
No, it was insured, so it was all good. Oh yeah, when I was traveling, I also used shoot videos with it and make reels with it. No, not a reel, but a video of it. Yeah.
So I don't own a drone, but every sessions that if I go to an area that I know I can fly a drone, then I usually try to rent one. And then I'm actually more interested in the drone photography than the video. So I've actually taken a lot of drone photos, especially around sunset, using the long, shadows and try to make something cool out of it. So yeah, I've always enjoyed it, but I've never actually done it at a wedding. That's something that I do like to do. Maybe some kind of bridal portrait, more like a group portrait with a drone footage from high above. I think that might be really cool.
Yeah, recently on Instagram, I saw someone do. It was films, a video, but it was them during the first look, which was really interesting. I haven't seen that yet. So the reason I brought this up as a hot take is because we are seeing it more often. Do you think that this is maybe like an add-on to a package, or is that something you think should just be kind of expected if that is already in somebody's like portfolio, for example?
I think it should be an add-on.
I think it's just an additional, like, a variety of shots. Like, yeah, it's just another angle, I guess. It's just another angle. You could add value to your package, but like to charge the additional for that, I don't know.
The only reason I say it's an add-on is because there's so much limitation. Depending on a bad weather, then you cannot fly it. But if they really wanted the drone shots, then, that's not something that we can promise in terms of package goes. And also, like, if they're getting married in somewhere that's, more like national park or, somewhere that's completely not allowed to fly a drone, then even if it's included in the package, we cannot fly them. So then we're not doing the service for the contract. So that's why I think it's only add-on.
Well, the thing is, I'm not gonna explicitly say, "Oh, you're not gonna promise that, like, hey, you're gonna have a drone." It's just gonna be like something that an additional footage that they'll probably be surprised if they see it. If not, then it's fine. It's just an additional angle or an additional
But don't you think people will
Footage,
book it because they see it, and if it's not an add-on, they would expect it?
What do you mean, like in my advertisement, like because I'm using
Like,
drone footage?
you
or,
probably
Like your work, like on your
Yeah.
Instagram or something, if you posted in the
Yeah,
past. And
I guess again, it comes into educating your clients. Like, hey, I mean, if the weather is good, then I may be able to have some drone shots, like establishing shots of the venue. But I guess I'm gonna make sure that it's not something that will draw my clients in. Like, oh, I booked you because you have a drone footage of the venue. I don't know. That's
I think this maybe applies more to videographers because I
Yeah.
do find a lot of, wedding films now, they do incorporate drone
they almost start with the
footage.
footage, yeah.
especially in
Like-
the beginning,
Yeah.
kind of
Like-
like set the mood.
yeah, like establishing shots or like
Yeah.
you're saying they're okay, yeah, that makes sense. But if you're saying that they're like drone heavy on their footages, that's something else. But yeah, I think it's just something that if you can add it in your footage or in your highlight film or whatever, but to say that for clients to expect it, I think that's too much.
Do you guys often watch like any wedding films or anything?
Yeah, because because I've been
Right, yeah.
training.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
So do you
quite a lot.
find like drone footage to be like, the norm now, or do you think it's kind of like overdone?
Yeah, I think it's becoming more of a norm, like establishing
Yeah.
shots, like because it's a good way to like go into a scene because
And I
it's
thought-
like a wide angle, because it's a wide angle. So
I think
Or
it
you
depicts the sort of the weather of that day really well. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like if it's not done, then it's fine. I don't think it's something that's like needed.
Yeah, so one of the studios that I work for their videographers, they make it like a mandatory gear that they need to have is a drone. And if not, they have to rent one, even though, again, depending on the day and the weather. But yeah, that's interesting because I think a lot of, especially in videography, like they do expect that, and that is becoming more a normal thing to have. But yeah, I brought this one up because I personally love the photography, the photos from drone photography more than maybe because I've seen more of like films and footage versus photography. So I'm pretty much like that a lot. So, and I've seen that a lot recently too. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like so much to think about. It's just like another thing. So I don't know if I would do it personally, but I love seeing it.
From what I know, that the drone flying in Canada is super strict. You guys need to actually have to fly past one of those pilot tests.
Well, the Mini, I think it's okay. You don't need a license for that, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the weight, yeah,
yeah. But a lot of areas are restricted for sure.
less than 249 grams. Eugene, going back to like the adding it on, I would look at it in a way wherein if I have to go into a venue an hour early to get those shots, then it makes sense to like add it on into your package, like an add-on. Charge to charge your clients as an add-on, like because you're gonna but I don't know like how much footage you would have it in your highlight film for it to be substantial for your clients to like pay for an additional hour or like for just the drone footage.
It's an equipment cost. It's literally a very specialized shot.
Yeah.
So if you want the shot, then the clients pay for it. If not, then you don't pay for it.
Yeah, if it's something that they would expect, like, hey, I want like if they specifically request it, then you would add it on.
But I think also like what you're saying is like it comes down to the business, decision at the end of the day. If you want to attract clients in that way, that's. But
True.
I actually don't. I mean, all the photographers that I know who uses drone charges extra.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
But then again, I think it comes down to, like Pauline said, I think it comes down to whether they're a photographer or videographers. Videographers, I think, don't charge it often, but photographers definitely charge it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think another reason why I do photo, because video, they just have so much gear that they have to carry around.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one I wanted to bring up is kind of general, but more specifically, just photo booths in general in the reception. And specifically, one I've seen quite often now is the 360 photo booths. Have you guys seen those before? I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen it obviously on social media and stuff. But
There are a lot on the Las Vegas Strip.
yes, I can imagine.
Yep.
And
So,
at
okay.
WPPI, Caroline was doing it herself.
yes.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, like the topic is, what are your thoughts about having the photo booth and more specifically, this, I guess, trendy thing of 360 photo booth?
I think it's fun. It's just fun. It's for them, It's part of the celebration. It's another way to capture the moment or the day. It's fun.
When you're asking, like, what do I think of the photo booth? Like, are you asking, like, am I for it? Am I against it? Or something
Yeah,
like
I mean, I could see how some people can think that it can take away from like a photographer's job, right? Instead of, because most people, like groups and stuff, they would go to the photo booth instead of asking the photographer for a photo.
But I think it's two very different service, although it's the same taking photos. They have their own accessory, whatever they want to wear, and
Yeah.
they can print it out right away, and or do all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually I never had for or against kind of thing. I always I go over there to take a photo of them, try to pose for the photo booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and I guess I don't really have any opinion on that.
So do you find at a lot of your weddings that is something that they have in the reception, or?
I think it's been 100%.
Yeah, most
Really?
of the time, it's a photo booth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that instantly prints hard copies.
Whether they are, a little bit more complex and a little bit more simple, I feel like there's always been one.
Interesting.
How about
Not
you?
for me. No.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Obviously, there's been a lot, but usually definitely the bigger, more traditional weddings, I think. But the small ones that I attract, no. Especially the intimate ones, I think there's not really a need. If that is the case, they normally have like disposable cameras on the tables or just like Polaroids that they can take themselves. Otherwise, yeah, no to the photo booth. Again, I think just the clients that I attract are not.
So do you have any opinion on photo booth?
No, not necessarily, but I do feel like if they do have a photo booth, then I find the photo coverage is not as long. If that makes sense.
Okay.
See, I couldn't compare. Yeah, just because there was no situation, there was no situation. There wasn't one. If there was a reception, if there was a dance floor, then I think there's always been one.
Interesting. So then, in terms of your weddings, how long do you stay up until like just the beginning of the dancing, or
I usually
like, do you
stay
capture
till the
dancing
end.
for sure?
Yeah,
So, like, what do you mean the end? Like
when everyone's leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's so different than me.
No,
So
for me,
that's sometime I'm like, do I really need to be here? Because it's going to be the same kind of like dancing, like on a repeat. That's why it's kind of nice to go with John, because John enjoys that situation. So I can kind of relax a little bit. And actually, like probably next time, what I should do is probably I should edit at that time. Let John take the photos and just me editing. Yeah.
After the formals, you don't just
That's really interesting. Because for me, I usually do, especially if for video, then it's just like max. Usually because they're overtime, so then you try to get like at least 5 to 10 minutes of dancing, and then you're done. Same with photo. I don't normally stay that long because again, they're all the same.
Yeah.
I don't think they need hundreds and hundreds of people dancing.
Like for example, John's wedding that's coming up on March 31st or April 1st.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So he's so like in his planning, he's already planning an exit at the end of the day. So like he has to be there.
Right.
Yeah, there's a sparkler exit at 10:30.
See, I've done a wedding where we moved that exit to before the end. So it's just like for the
they actually did move it.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how long it's gonna. I think the reception's up until 12. But we're doing the sparkler at 10:30. So, but they were telling me, so that after sparkler exit, I could get drunk with them. So, that was.
Are we driving separately?
Oh, we need to talk about that. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not getting drunk, but at least, they said I could celebrate with them, and after. But That's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. Next topic. Giving out raws. Have you ever been asked to give your raws to clients? You
Yes.
have. Okay. And
For me, no, I haven't been long enough, so I've never experienced that.
There was 2 occasions that they wanted to edit themselves, or there were actually editors that they know, or one couple that the editor that they know that if I could just give the rules and they could that editor could edit. So in my situation, the way I deal with it is I just say they just need to buy the copyright, and then I can release the raw. But copyright will be the 3 times of the session fee. So they never did. So yeah, I just make it fair that way. It'll be easier job for me in terms of making, and because I sold the copyright, it doesn't really belong to me anymore. So they cannot say that it's my work or anything like that, and I don't need to take any responsibility for those. If it's if the wedding was $6,000, then they just need to pay $24,000.
so you wouldn't edit those ones also. You would just give them the raws and that'd be it. That'd be done. Okay.
Yeah, because that would be an issue, right? Like, because it's like they can use your photo in a way and use it for commercial use. Then you'll use the ability to monetize that.
But
That's why you want to sell it that expensive.
I'm just trying to make it simple.
Exactly.
Them wanting raw doesn't always mean they're going to use it for something else.
Yeah, but they could now.
But if they're editing the image, it's not mine anymore. That's just that. It's simple like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they cannot say that you're the photographer for that. Yeah.
How do you feel, Pauline?
I haven't been asked. I don't know if I feel comfortable with it. And I think if someone does ask, then I'd probably ask further questions, like what their purpose is, what they're going to use for it, and why they need it. And if it's kind of in the same scenario, then probably I would charge them. But I don't know how comfortable. I'm not saying the raws are terrible, but it's I don't know. It's just out of my control that it's kind of.
Do you think people will usually ask after they already done the session with you? Like in your head, like how are you thinking? Like
I would assume so. Unless they come straight out like, hey, we would love the raws before you even edit them, then that'd be different. But
if they do, would you work still, or would you not?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I actually remember a situation. Somebody inquired me about. We were talking, and I'm like, oh, she eventually said, "Oh, I actually don't care about the edits because I'll probably edit it anyway." Mm-hmm. But so I guess she didn't really mention anything about raws.
Yeah, so that's a whole another topic.
Okay.
Yes, which we can talk about too.
So that was super weird. I just kind of stopped responding to her because it was weird.
So to wrap up the raw images thing, like if people ask me before the session, I just say that I won't shoot. Okay. There's no point of me. No. Okay. There's no point of me putting the energy and time into that. Like there's no outcome for me, even if there's money. But if someone were to, ask after the session, then that's what I would say. Yeah, going back to John's thing, there has been a lot of discussion about this on Facebook group and on Instagram as well. And I know someone particular who's very famous. She always talk about this, that even if they don't ask you, like they may still put on, filter over it on Instagram or something like that. And how do you guys feel about that?
You know what? If I don't see it, then that's fine. If they don't tag me, fine. Like, I don't want to be tagged. Don't tag me. Yeah. If they put a filter
I think I do have the same feeling about that.
Yeah.
I prefer not for them not to do that, but I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. I'll just try not to look at it or hopefully I don't see it. But yeah, nothing. I mean, I don't think I want to, I'm not going to sue my clients out of it.
Yeah, because in my contract, I say it's up to all the photos is for personal use. They can do whatever they want if that includes editing it again to their standards. Sure, but they can't sell it or anything or use it to get money from it. But otherwise, whatever.
I agree to that. I agree to that point, but at the same time, I don't want there to be a false advertising. So even if they don't tag me, if they put my name on it, that could be
So
completely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a warning, if there is a client, any potential clients or anyone who's like looking to hire photographers in the future, if you put your own filter on it, 9 out of 10 is going to look worse.
Yeah. It's like sometimes it will oversaturate the photo. Yeah, it just looks bad. And then when you tag us, we'll probably untag. Can we untag ourselves?
We can. I think we can untag it, but I think that remains that it depends on how they tag it. Yeah.
Okay, because we don't want that attached to our brand, like different editing. It's not us.
That could be the
editing
lost of that territory.
We don't want to have that changed by you putting filters on. Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this in the past, but has any client come back to you and asked you to re-edit, not in terms of retouching, but re-editing the color profile or anything like that?
For me, okay, go ahead, Eugene.
Well, I think it's part of it. Part of so people who listen to my imposter syndrome, or not mine, but our imposter syndrome, the episode, the mindset, I talked about how I get very nervy about editing process in general. So I don't have a ton of confidence when it comes down to editing, although there are there are styles that I like to stick with and everything. So there has been a few occasions where clients come back to me and said this feels too it looks too different to my other works or things like that. So, and I often cannot really say no, it's the same process. I guess I don't really have confidence about those. Yeah, it's a kind of a difficult thing to kind of handle. In my situation, if there's a customer who feel that they haven't received something they liked or they feel that it's different to my other work, then I try to mend it as much as possible. Just because at the end of the day, I think they book me for whatever the editing style or it's about their satisfaction. So rather than my sort of artistic, expression. Yeah, I think there were 2 occasions, and that over the 400 couples, I went and corrected them. Yeah,
free of charge, or did you
free of charge?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Luckily, I have not come across this yet, but that kind of reminds me also, because even when I'm editing my galleries, I do kind of look at my previous work as well, just to not compare, but to see if it even matches up. Because I find every session's so different. All the lighting, every day is so different in terms of lighting, the weather. It's going to be very hard, even if you use a preset, everything to look that is your style, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Luckily, I haven't had a client come back to me to ask for a re-edit or anything. But
for me, nobody has asked yet. But there was this one particular client. She was asking me, maybe this is off topic, but she was asking me, why is the background so blurry? Can you edit that? And I was I had to explain what bokeh is. So I thought that was funny. It was explaining a bokeh to a client. Really imagine that. So yeah, aside from that, no, with my editing style, nothing yet.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So what did they end up saying? Did they understand or?
they did understand, but yeah, it was an interesting conversation. I was we do that so that to separate the subject from the background. And I was and I did have some photos of them with a little bit more stop down, so a little bit more detail on the background. So that was okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, for me, I don't go probably F4 is my max.
Yeah.
Unless there's a huge group of people.
Can you imagine using 85 millimeters and then
Yeah.
The separation is a lot, no matter what. So anyway, it was just.
I mean,
funny.
I'm surprised she even noticed because I feel like most
Yeah.
people they don't really notice these things.
Yeah,
But
she shouldn't.
maybe
notice.
she was just used to like iPhone photos or camera.
Yeah.
Everything's in focus.
Yeah, usually it's a positive reaction, but for her, I guess she didn't like the bokeh, so it was quite
Fair
interesting. Yeah. Anyway,
I think to add to my two situation is that they've both been a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I think even if we it just kind of reminded me when Pauline was saying about different lighting and different situations. But I think even if it's a different situation, a different lighting, and even if we use different presets, now that if the editing becomes somewhat consistent, even if it's slightly different look, there's still some kind of your style within it. So it will look somewhat consistent. So I think in the sort of like earlier days where I didn't really have that, that probably showed even more. So I think that's one of the reasons that I accepted it as well. But yeah.
Interesting. I mean, kind of reminds us of imposter syndrome because I look at my own work and I'm like, is it consistent? I don't know.
going back to our last episode, the WPPI. So one of the critiques, John Branch.
Yeah.
John Branch, if you're listening.
Probably not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tag him. Anyway, he was like saying that one of the things that I need to work on is editing, making like more consistency. And I in my head, I'm justifying like, oh yeah, but it's like different scenarios, different lighting, different mood. So I don't know, it's really hard.
I think the best way to kind of explain that is just narrowing the spectrum. So even if it looks very different, like in different environment, the more consistent you get, the spectrum gets really narrow. But in sort of like when you're somewhat new and not very used to all different kind of lighting, then I think that spectrum is much wider. That it would look actually different. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I showed him photos from Banff, and then the next photo was from Death Valley. So it's like you went from like very green and like gloomy, and then Death Valley was like harsh lighting, and it was like a sunrise photo.
But I think we're just too hard on ourselves because I mentioned to you both. I think if I'm scrolling and I see a photo, I know if it's Eugene's or John's. Like I can tell. So I think we're just
I could tell too what like the editing, even if we shot at the same location. Yeah, like, from the editing, I could tell it was Eugene's photo versus mine,
which is a good thing because I think a lot of the times I'm scrolling, I'm like, who is this person? I don't know why am I seeing this, right? Even though I follow them, right? So I think it's a good thing that I could tell like you guys apart, for example. So yeah,
that's good. That's good to know.
Okay, so the last kind of like topic group that I'm going to bring up is photographer etiquette. So the first thing is what to wear on a wedding day, because I think we mentioned this briefly before.
Yeah.
But it's something that Eugene doesn't know about. And for me, like as when I first started, I didn't know either. I actually had to that's why I went to watch YouTube videos because I didn't know what to expect, and that was included, and that really helped. And that's why I mentioned in our first episode that I wore a dress because I had no idea what to wear.
True.
And so, yeah, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you guys wear on a wedding day typically?
So for me, typically, if I have a button-up shirt, black pants, and then a nice shoe, dress shoe. If it's not a dress shoe, at least black. Simple. Do not stand out. Like just, simple black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eugene, what do you wear normally?
I must admit that I'm very poorly dressed wedding photographer.
So very casual.
Yeah. Just because I like to wear a hat. Because when I run around and stuff, like I do sweat, and it's kind of I think it's just nicer to just wear a hat and just not be sweaty.
Okay.
Just because of that, I don't know. I try to wear close to like suit and that, but I'm trying to change a few things and hopefully improve my attire. But my goal is that, essentially, like, I would like to wear close to a suit that will be more comfortable, that would stretch and be very active, and I can wear shoes that look like a dress shoes, but more for activity and more for like performance kind of thing. Yeah.
I have something on my mind. Eugene, would you be okay wearing a brimmed hat?
Yeah, apparently he got stick to that after the WPPI. There were so many people wearing
photographers in WPPI wearing brimmed hat. I was like, I kind of want to wear that. So I think I'm gonna gift you one, Eugene, for our wedding, for the one that you're gonna second shoot with me, or have you wear that instead of your cap.
It's not gonna happen.
Or I will gift you a hat with my brand, with my logo, branded cap. How do you feel about that?
I'm surprised. Yeah, Eugene, you should come up with your branded stuff for John when he's second.
Yeah.
Well, I like for like the regular sort of like traditional weddings, I think it's kind of difficult to wear those branded stuff. But if we do like adventure stuff, maybe it can be a hoodie, or that could be good.
Even adventure engagements. Yeah.
So I guess for me, I'm from the studios that I've worked with, the like general consensus is just everyone wear black, just because it's just the easiest. Everyone does have black in their wardrobe. And you do kind of look like more of a team, especially when there's 4 people. But I have seen that, like, if I do wear black, sometimes people, I guess, think that I work at the venue or something. So even the holding cameras, which is hilarious, but which is funny. So I mean, I guess in terms of color, it's definitely not white. But otherwise, I wear for comfort also, but I do like to dress somewhat nicely, especially if it's like in a church or somewhat of a fancier wedding. But otherwise, if I do know there's going to be, if it's like cold in the winter, then I'd probably wear more layers and be more comfortable than anything. So second thing I want to talk about is etiquette in terms of the ceremony. So is there any off-limit areas that you find, like, for example, in a church? I know there's more rules, but I've seen people break the rules a little bit. And so I just wanted to bring that up to see if you guys have experienced anything in terms of like where to walk in terms of the ceremony. Is there any off-limits sections? And even, for example, if using flash is available during a ceremony, stuff like that. So
I don't actually have any rules for that. I just check with the officiant or the wedding coordinator at the venue the day before on the day of. So whatever the tells me, in terms of not to be allowed back there, or being in Vegas, there's been no officiant that I could actually literally stand right next to the officiant over his head and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I've seen him do that.
God.
I'm such a savage. I'm almost shocked when he does that. Like.
Yeah. So I check with the officiant. As long as they allow me, then I try to, I move around to take the shot. So yeah.
Well, some spaces are tight, so Eugene like kind of just goes in there.
Okay.
But anyway, to me that's not my taste. I try to be less. Try to be less intrusive as that. But sometimes when Eugene does that, okay, it's a go signal. I should do that too. I'll go on the other side and then get a different angle. And but I try to minimize that. It's a little, my introverted side of me kicks in, and
I think for me, like, especially with my personality, I don't like being the center of attention. And I feel like if I do that, I'm the center of attention.
Pretty much. That's how I feel.
So I personally don't even get close. Like, even for the ring, putting on the rings, I just use my 85 and stand as close as I feel comfortable. And because I've seen people get real close, and I'm personally not comfortable. That is a distraction. I feel like the guests want to see that, and not me.
Yeah.
So unless the only thing I would move up for is signing of the obviously marriage license and stuff, that's the only time I'd move up close. Otherwise, even like going behind the officiant or like to the side, I feel kind of comfortable with, especially, at a church wedding. So I personally just want to be as far away and as close as I am comfortable, so I don't really get close. That's just my personal,
I guess,
taste, but
that comes with the. I'm not trying to be center of attention or.
no, I know, but that's just
But
me.
no, I know. But
Yeah.
I think there's a way to do it. Like I walk almost like apologetically approaching. I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
going in, but I have to
Yeah.
take this shot, kind of thing. So there's never been a situation that people did complain about. Like that I can see the rings or all that kind of stuff. But I think that also comes down with the planning as well, like what's happening next or where I can be next and kind of thing, so that I don't move I don't have any like hurried movement. Anything is very soft movement and try to just be gentle as possible. And I think it's about timing and the way to do it. There's actually been a situation where the officiant actually asked me, can you come up close to take the ring shot? So I was like, okay, I have to go up now.
Okay, there you go.
That's good.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Or like when they know that you're there and they move out of the way when they're doing their vows or move out of the way for the first kiss, those are the best.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard Eugene say, well, the only thing for me is, would you be able to step aside on the first kiss? So I guess you have to instruct them. Sometimes they just have no idea.
Yeah, if they're not a seasoned officiant, then you do have to tell them. The way I explain it though is, it's just my camera is very sensitive to eyes. So if they're kissing, obviously I cannot see their eyes, but I can see your eyes, so it will focus on you.
Well, sometimes I find like if they're right in the center and they go in for the kiss, they're blocked anyway. So that's good.
That's true. That's true.
So even if they are still standing there, there's definitely at least one or two that they're blocked and you can't see them in the shot. But yeah, anyway, so that going back to, I just feel personally uncomfortable even walking in the aisle. Like I feel like eyes are on me already because there's movement, there's this person that's coming up. So yeah, that's just my take. But yeah, it's interesting to see other people.
Do you put your camera on silent shutter?
Yes. Well, okay, especially in a church because it's so loud.
Yeah.
But otherwise outside, I typically don't. But inside for sure.
But in terms of limitation goes, we can take the silent shutter outside, but not inside because you get the banding.
Yeah, for LED, if there's like an LED lighting.
Yeah, no.
There was this one time, I think it was the very first wedding me and Eugene shot. He was doing hybrid coverage, and he was shooting video, and he did not disable the like when you're.
I always had it on.
I was like, Eugene, you can shut that off, right? Like,
I still don't have it off.
Oh my god. Didn't. Very loud.
Well, so the couple knows that I'm taking the video too.
Fair enough.
Oh boy, it was just one of the things.
Is there anything else that like you wouldn't do on a wedding day type of thing that maybe you've seen other people do, or that you have done in the past and that you don't do anymore?
I think Taylor Jackson puts it very good. That anyone who's lying down to take the shot is not a good. Like I don't care how fit you are. Like that's a lot. Or I think any kind of perpendicular movement, anywhere that you need to go up high, or like going up on a chair or going up on a
ladder I've seen.
Have you actually seen a ladder?
Yes.
Wow.
But mostly for family photos. That's the only time.
Yeah. Actually, there's an interesting shot. I've seen Lindsay Coulter did it. So it was after the first kiss, the bride and groom walked down at the end of the aisle. And then Lindsay pulled out a ladder, and then she shot like a group shot of the entire ceremony.
Yeah.
I think Taylor did that first.
Huh?
I
Taylor
hated
did
it different. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it for Lindsay.
See, if someone like Taylor Jackson does it, then it's okay. Knowing the personality and knowing like he's not going to disturb other people, in those situations it's okay. Like that's expected. Like that's like almost becoming like a signature shot. Those things are okay. But during a ceremony, doing some of the things, it's
Oh no. After.
I am. Although I am going up close and stuff. I am very mindful of like who's in that line and who's trying to watch what and all that kind of stuff. I always try to be a little bit quick and
I try to be considerate too. Like if I know I'm in the way, I would crouch. Stuff like that, just to be mindful of like what your position is. Especially, I try not to block the parents' view.
Yeah.
That's a very awkward position. I do try to block intentionally the mobile phones. So.
Oh yeah, that too. I instructed my one of my couples do an unplugged wedding, and then I showed them a photo of all the cameras. This is what happens to a wedding with all the cameras on during the ceremony, and it's gonna be there forever. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, we gotta let."
I just then make it fun and take a photo of the phone taking a photo.
Inception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think, we talked about a lot of etiquette. One thing that I've seen also is this other photographer. She's like petite like me, and so she brings a stool with her, especially for group photos, which I've thought about, but it's just, again, I like to be minimal and I don't want to bring as much stuff. But I guess going back to the whole ladder thing, people who are shorter and you have a big group, it is nice to be on a higher elevation and higher viewpoint. But yeah, I think that was all.
That's when you bring the drone in.
Yeah, okay, indoors in a church, okay.
Can you imagine drone for family photos?
Oh my gosh.
Or indoor weddings.
Oh my god. That was so
That's
loud.
dangerous. You're going to crash that for sure.
Yeah, and that would be so loud too.
Oh, yeah. That would be very distracting. Like, even like when we're doing like for like footage, having it already flying is very loud during the family portraits. But anyways, that was all the ones that I had for this episode. What do you guys think? Is that fun?
Very entertaining.
You didn't know what I was going to say, so that was kind of good.
Yeah, it's very good.
So with this, obviously this is the second hot takes that we're doing, and hot takes has I don't know what like I definitely you guys enjoy these a lot more than I do.
Okay.
No, I mean it's not that
It'll just be John and I.
Yeah, Eugene, just let it flow.
So when I'm not here, then you guys can do another episode. No, but I mean, no, I do enjoy it. In terms of like try to come up with these like my thoughts and stuff. But I think a lot of these things, I guess I didn't know a lot of these hot topics.
I mean, I guess like yes, hot takes, but also just mini topics that we can just talk about just for like casually.
Yeah.
Kind of sharing our thoughts and our experiences, which we did this time. So yeah, that's the whole purpose.
So this is how I would sound like if I were to talk to someone without any preparation. So yeah. It's just not much of a context from me. Yeah. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Cool.
I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. Well, John and I did. I always enjoy these. These are fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you listen to this one. And if you haven't listened to our previous hot takes, please do so in our previous episode as well, which was a lot of fun to talk about WPBI. So next week, we're going to talk about going from part-time to full-time. A topic that I think is going to be interesting because we're all in our different journeys. Obviously, Eugene's full-time and John and I are currently part-time. So we're going to talk about at what point in our photography journey where we would determine that, it's time to go full-time and discuss all the things along with that. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. And so stay tuned for that. This episode was a lot of fun. As we talked about, Eugene didn't have a lot of fun.
No, I still had a lot of fun. No.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just joking.
It was fun.
So yeah, thanks so much. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.